Folks, this live stream is brought to you by my sponsor AAA FX. Now, they're a fully regulated broker in Europe and South Africa, offering Forex indices, commodities, crypto, and over 100 stocks. Now, at AAA FX, you pay no commission on any Forex pair using their ECN Plus account and low commissions on cryptos and stocks. Plus, you can deposit with cash or crypto, get a free VPS with deposits over 5K, and easily integrate the well-known copy trade service Zulu Trade. While you're waiting for the stream to start, go and check them out by clicking the link in the description, comments, or visit AAAFX.com.
Good day, traders. Hoping that everybody's doing well today. This is Master FxShifu from the University of Forex Dojo. Can you guys confirm if my sound is good? If my screen is clear, then we can definitely hop on. Hopefully we'll pick up some good setups today. And yeah, take advantage, guys. I missed you guys yesterday. Been having some power issues here, but we are back at it again. We are back at it again, and we can definitely take advantage. See, we've got Roberto on. Let's see. Sound is good. Awesome, Alex. Awesome. Video is clear. Perfect. Do drop your pairs. Drop your pairs, and then I can definitely try scrutinize them and take advantage. Okay. Just gonna clear up these. These are from our Monday live stream. This was quite well, the retracement. Let's see. Just gonna mark it quickly and then just clear out some of the noise here. Just clear out these and redo the whole analysis, which will be much better for everybody. Okay, let's start with US 100. There we go. Perfect. So the basics, you always want to know what the daily has in store for you. You always want to know what the daily has in store for you. And once you've got the daily, we can start moving and understanding what structure is telling us, because we are still off that assumption that price will still move down to this low here. There's a very important low, by the way, on the daily because of structure, so bullish. So we are expecting price to eventually start trickling down and, of course, picking up some orders and then coming back to this area again. So this is a very important zone. Just keep that in mind. You can save it for when price does get there. And if it does while we're not watching, then you can definitely grab that setup. Okay. And then on the 4 hour, just want to spot if we don't see any structure happening. And we kind of do. Price heading to the downside from this area here. So this is our next important area on a lower time frame, of course, not the daily. So we should be expecting price to come back into this region and then, of course, head down again. We saw this was our high, which created this low, broke structure on that end. So we should see something happen along this range, this high being respected, and then, of course, head into the downside. So on the 4 hour, we are good. I'm just going to mark that. Just going to put that on the side here. And then, of course, just mark it as the 4 hour zone. Leave it right there. And then go on to the lower time frame. Now this is where it starts getting interesting for us, because now we're in a time zone that we can actually start getting some triggers in the day between the hourly, the 30 and the 15, provided we do see some good spots, provided we do see something happening. And until we see something happening, we will not be touching it. Okay, so this area right here at the top, the first pullback was respected, which created this BOS right here at the bottom. And then, of course, price retraced, respected the area. So we should expect this to be broken as price keeps going to the downside. So ideally, you want to find a point of entry to enter this sell option. And hopefully we'll find one now. On the 5-minute now. Yeah, we need to find an area. But it's going to be a bit too close because this area is not that far. Let's see how the 30 minutes is looking. Yeah, it's going to be way too close, way too close. Okay, so what we'll definitely do now is actually wait for this break. Wait for this break at the bottom here at the, I'm just going to put this price point here, 12,949 area. And then once price actually does break this area, we are going to use either of these over here for our sell point. Actually trickle down with it, because you should be expecting it to go down until we start seeing structure to the upside to go into this 4-hour area here. But for now, we're in the lower time frames. So I'm just going to mark these quickly so you guys can, so we have this area here at the top. Even this candle does count, by the way. This one right here is unmitigated, but we always like to go for the extremes. So this is an area we want to see price getting into, provided we have a break of this zone over here, and then of course price coming back there and then to the downside. That's exactly what we'll be doing until further notice. And just put the price points there. And remember, guys, the break has to happen first. The break has to happen first, because if it doesn't, you might find price actually going back up to this area here, because now this one here has already been mitigated by this move here. So do be careful. Do be careful. Okay. Is my screen clear, guys? I see the network is low. We do have some power issues here, so it's a bit tricky. Okay. Moving on. So this is our area of entry for, what's this? For US 100. We need the break first, and then, of course, we can trickle up to the top. And then now, if you really insist on getting in even now, there is an area here which I'm not really comfortable with, but there is an area there for an earlier entry. And now it'll be based off this break over here, this high creating that low, and this high respecting that high respecting that high. So we should be seeing if price does go into this area and then to the downside. That's also another opportunity, but I'm not comfortable with that one. Let me just mark it for you guys as well. If it does trigger, we will monitor it. So if price does get into this area, we'll wait for the lower time frame structure to the downside, and of course pick out a beautiful entry. But like I said, not comfortable with this one, but it is a potential setup. Doesn't erase that fact. There we go. So those are the potential areas we are looking at on, it's like 3, I think it's 4 actually, because we've got this 4-hour here on the right. Got this 4-hour here on the right, and then we have the daily. We've got the 4-hour here, and then we've got the daily here at the bottom. Then we've got the 1 hour, and then of course the 15-minute. So do be careful when you're trading these lower time frames. They can humble you. So we are going to keep our alerts in check and just wait for them. Okay. So I'm just going to mark that. Let's choose a different color for today. Let's go for blue, light blue. Awesome. I see Bobby Dollar FX wants us to look at US 30 and gold. So hold on for me. US 30 and gold. I'm just gonna mark these, open these. And save that, copy. I'm supposed to also send into these ones here. Hi guys. I'm not sure what happened there. There we go. Can you guys see my screen? Just got disconnected there. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a reception or what. Just literally got kicked out of StreamYard. But that's fine. Let's see. Where was I? I'm still on US 100. Can you guys see my screen? Is everything clear now? Hopefully this doesn't happen again. Okay, US 30 and gold. So we do have the alerts on US 100. So we're going to leave these running. And then once they do trigger, we can come and look at the lower time frames and try get a trigger to the downside. Okay. So Bobby Don wants us to look at US 30 and gold. And then Tom wants us to look at EJ. Guys, don't forget to like the stream. US ZAR from Snow. And then, well, I'm back, World. I'm back. That's not finished. Don't worry. Awesome. We back and clear. And then GJ from Zek. Okay. So US 13, US 100, you're most probably looking at the same thing. They usually work around the same way. And we're in an area that's very interesting. Let me just mark it for you guys from the beginning so you guys can at least understand where my chain of thought comes from. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. Don't forget to like the stream. Okay, so we are bearish, of course. We're definitely bearish. And then we did have a nice BOS happening right there. Retracement, of course, getting into this beautiful area right here, which is where I've been trying to basically trade from, looking at these. And then, of course, now we start refining them. Remember, we picked this up from the higher time frame. So now refining it is where the trick is, because now you're looking at multiple time frames, and I'm looking for a zone that hasn't been mitigated, of course. And then this one here has just been mitigated, this one right here, because if you look to the right now, that's where price actually got in. And then when I look deeper into this past price action here, I just started noticing how most of these, I'm just going to show you now, this was mitigated here, that was mitigated here, and this just now. And then, of course, when you start going up, this one here is where the interesting part is, and this one here at the top. So that's where now I eventually started looking at price points here, and of course using this one here, which gave me this viewpoint here, something like that. Well, when you refine it, of course. Then, of course, going to the downside. So this is what I was looking at from the higher time frame, from the daily. Now, if we hop on deeper into what's happening on the low time frames inside here, I also started noticing this structure right here. What was this? When price retraced, of course, and then broke again, retraced. Sorry about that. Which started giving me the idea of another valid entry point in here into our price points at the top. And we're looking for candles like these. That's what we're looking for. Then if we go back again, so this is where I was actually trying to find price points to actually trade into this area here. So it'll look something like that. May not happen now, probably going to happen later on, probably in the New York Open, but it is something that you can take a look at and monitor. And then other than that, if you really want to start increasing your risk, now we're going to start looking at your 15 and 5-minute time frames. And now that's where it's going to start showing you some very odd. So hold on a sec. Okay, so this is where we are. Now on the 15, 30 and 15, let's see. Let's see. This is not a nice candle to look at. Okay, let's go to the 15. Massive rejection here at the bottom. Most probably going to see price come back here. Although this mitigation here is not really ideal. Okay, let's see how it looks on the 5. Yeah, there we go. There's one there. This one just got tapped into. So this is probably the most ideal one. And with this time frames, I probably want to take these highs as well, just to be on the safe side. And then you'd have a price point that looks like this. And then, of course, remember, we don't use market or limit orders. We're always on price to go in between our stop loss range. And then you trigger stop orders and then potentially wait for price to actually trigger you in using momentum. And then all the way down to their area of interest here at the bottom. So you'd have something that looks like that. This is where multi-time frame analysis comes in. I mean, if you check out bootcamp, this is what we're trying to actually teach people. It goes a bit deeper than this, but you guys get the point. So that's what we're looking at. Then let me just make it bigger. And of course, save it as well. I haven't sent this one yet. So that's what we're looking for. Let me just move these and then post them into our advanced signals. Okay, there we go. Let me just post a second one as well. There we go. You can't hear. Is my sound low? Bobby Doll says they can't hear. How's the sound, guys? Please confirm. Okay, so whilst we wait for this, I'm going to hop into some of you guys' pairs. Let's see. USD ZAR from Snow. Let's take it USD ZAR. Okay, USD ZAR. Let's go to USD ZAR. I seldom get requests for this one. Seldom. Sorry about that. So reset. Sound is good. So I think it's just you, Bobby. Just turn up your speakers. You should be fine. Okay, so on the daily, this actually looks quite beautiful. And there's some liquidity being formed here. Oh, and gold. Definitely look at gold. Okay, so we have these two areas here where there's money just sitting there. Okay, we've got those areas there on the daily. We had this BOS, of course. There's minor retracement. I wouldn't really look at it. And ideally, you may find price essentially heading down to this price point here to continue the upward momentum. Now, if you go on to the 4-hour, which question is Adita asking? I'll take a look as well. Okay, and then we're gonna go back up and then try see where we must be also here. There's a zone here that's being built. We must be looking to see it coming from this area and then all the way to the downside. Okay, let's see how the 1 hour is looking. I hope you're still with me, guys. Got this area here as well. So this is what I'm actually anticipating. Price will probably come in, take some of this liquidity, and then of course take some of these, and then essentially head down, take some of these, and all the way down to that daily zone to the upside, this area here. So basically trying to build a mind map or where price is most likely going to go and react. So what I would probably do, okay, so US 100 is crossing our zone. We're going to go check it out now. That means we're going to start having some stop orders now. I'll take a look as well. So we're going to have, we need an area to trade it from. I wouldn't be buying here. You could be finding yourself price doing that, but just know that you're having liquidity being created here, being engineered here, which means eventually price is going to do that, and then of course head to the upside. So I think until that happens, we're going to stay away for a bit. And then once it does do that, once it breaks the zone, we're going to hop onto the lower time frames, and then we're going to start looking for structure to the upside, and only then we'll be looking at potential areas to trade from. So do keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Then we'll definitely follow it. I'm just going to keep an alert here as well on US ZAR. Then going back to US 100, because US 100 is in our area of interest. So if you're using our Wushu toolbox, then you'll probably put in the order, and then of course once price gets in the middle, only when it gets in the middle will it trigger the sell. If it doesn't get in the middle, or if it passes, your sell won't trigger. So do keep that in mind. So now let's go and monitor this on the lower time frames. Let's look at the 3-minute, and then we're going to follow it gently. So that's where it is, around the midpoint. So this is where now you trigger your sell stops. And remember now, your risk management has to be in point. You don't over risk. Keep that in mind. So this is why we avoid market orders. So if you go market order and you trigger here, this is where that kicks you out. So when you start using your sell stops in the middle, you wait for price to get inside, and only when it tanks down does it trigger you in. If it continues going to the upside and violates all your orders here, then essentially your trade is basically cut out. Then you're going to wait for the second setup. So you want to keep that in mind. Okay, looking at Adita Kumar, the US CPI and inflation data news, which expect will just be strong or weak, how market behave. So usually with the news, I'm not really a fan of trading the news. I literally avoid the news by all means necessary. When I do have announcements and so forth, I'll avoid the news 2 hours before, 2 hours after, watch all the market shocks happening, then trade after. Usually avoid trading the news. Gold, still have to look at gold, but let's keep monitoring this until we get triggered into the sell. Okay, just keep an eye on it. Then we just keep watching. Just going back to some of your comments here, guys. So let's look at EJ from Torrent. Gold from almost most of you guys. Take a look at that. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. Don't forget to like the stream. So we're just waiting for the trigger on this one. A beautiful rejection candle at the top. So let's watch. Don't mind the silence, guys. It's just me waiting. As the drift is asking, is OB and supply and demand the same? Roughly the same idea, same concept. Waiting, guys. Okay, I'm just going to keep that alert there. Let's take a look at gold before we run out of time. Gold has been playing around this area for a minute now. Okay, let's take a look at the 4 hour. Drift, how many points of interest are there? Quite a few actually, but I'm only marking structure and OBs on this streams. I don't mark anything else. Don't see double bottoms. Yes, he says they heard I did an interview with Lord Banks. No, I didn't do an interview with Lord Banks. Okay, let's see. 4 hour on gold. I'm just going to erase these for now. And then just pick this from top to the bottom. So we did have this BOS right there. So we should see price points in here. We will find a decent OB in there on the 4 hour. And then, of course, we can start going down to the 15 and so forth until we find a decent move trading into this area right here. I really prefer taking these lows because of what price tends to do. Now I'm just looking for an unmitigated candle. And then, of course, trade it from the top there. Okay, we still have this area here. There's this candle here. This one will be a bit too tight. Way too tight. So this would be a safer option to work with. Let's take a look at the 15. Then, of course, we can start trickling down until we find a nice stop loss range that can give you at least a potential 10R. So if you do get kicked out of 2 or 3, it's still a beautiful setup to work with. Okay, so on the 4 hour, you'd be looking at an area like this. And remember, guys, potentially, this is a huge stop loss range, but still want to cut it down a bit. But we're just looking at your unmitigated candles for now. You can use your fibs to cut it in half, but we'll get into that. And then now I just need to find an area in here that can give me potential sells into this area. Let's get into the 30. And already we can see there's something Beautiful forming in there. Guys, when you trade these concepts, you can literally trade any time frame in and out of specific areas. And I'll just show you now, as I just showed you, this is a 30-minute, and I'm essentially just looking for an unmitigated, this one is mitigated, area where I can sell from. I'll just show you now on the 30. Okay, potentially this one actually, but I'm going to use this candle as well. And then you'll see how I'm basically putting all these together. It took me quite a while to redo the Bootcamp 2020, and I think I'm still on chapter 3, where I'm basically trying to make it as simple and easy as possible for the next person. And that's a trigger of our US 100. Sell is active. We are going to monitor it. So one of two things are happening. You're going to get kicked out, hit your stop loss, or you're going to hit 1R, move stop to break even. And then, of course, you start managing it from there. Some people are scared. What they do is they start cutting their losses from 1R or their wins. Okay, so this is on the 30. Now, what that means now is on the lower time frames, you can still find the buys in here into this area. Because right now, I'm just showing you guys how I'm going to trade into this zone here at the bottom. And then, of course, now I'm going to show you how to trade into this area. And whatever area you find here, if you really want to scalp to the lowest point, you can still find potential areas in there. Okay, let me just mark these areas first. There we go. And then let me just, whilst we do this, I'm just going to finish this before I hop back onto US 100. Okay, there's our potential area to trade from. There we go. We've got less than 10 minutes. Let me just pop this into the there. Beautiful. And then hop back onto the US 100. Okay, so go into the lower time frames there. And then now it's all about monitoring, guys. It's literally all about monitoring. So most people, if you guys have brokers that are giving you some hectic spreads and you did use market order or limit orders, you would have been kicked out of the setup. So now let's see, we just literally minimize the chances of hitting the loss slightly. And then let's see how it plays out. So like I said, we have two things that are happening. We're either going to hit 1R, which is right here. Just hold on. Right here. That's another setup as monitoring. Yeah, so we either hit 12990 or 13015.6. Then we're definitely out, which means we'll be focusing on this second area here. And then if it does move over to the downside, when you hit 1R, move stop to break even, and then keep monitoring. What some people do, they close half as well, and then they let it kick them out. So those are the two areas that we'll be watching. Let me just put an alert here, then we'd know if we're out or if we're still in the trade. Okay. And then moving back into gold. Now, as I was explaining to you guys here, that you can potentially find some areas inside these candles here for potential buy into that area at the top, and it'll look exactly like this. So we had price moving to the downside. We had a break of structure, confirmed the reversal, formed a new high, which failed to break the zone, created a new low, which is now creating a new high, which means we're going to have a nice area to trade from on the 5-minute in this area here. But remember now, this is gold, guys. So this moves really, really rapidly, and it could kick you out if you don't trade it safely, if you don't wait for price to get into your area first before the buy. So you'd have something along these lines. And then, of course, into that 30-minute area that I was just talking about earlier. So you'd have these setups in essence. So you'd have this. Okay, let me just make it a bit neater to follow. There we go. Here we go. So now we are most certain that we've got these potential areas to work with. And remember, it's all about risk management, guys. If you can manage your risk effectively, you don't really have to worry about your losses. You don't have to worry about blowing your account and so forth. Manage your risk well, regardless of how confident or how effective your trading strategy is. Your risk management will determine how far you go. Keep that in mind. There we go. So we'll have something that looks like this. Okay. I see DJ Bad Bonds also look at JJ. I don't think we've got time for that now. I'm going to hop off shortly. Just going to monitor this US 100 setup. Then let's see how far it goes. And then we're still playing in the entry area here. So let's see if it does go either to the loss or to the green before I hop off. Any questions you guys have, I'm happy to answer to the best of my knowledge. Just hop to the top. Do I look at correlation? Yes, I do. So usually what happens is if I've got a couple of pairs that are roughly the same, that are highly correlated, I'd wait for one to actually be in the green and over break even first before triggering the second one. So that's what I usually do. I don't allow them to trigger at the same time or for them to hit your stops at the same time. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Let's go to the top part. Just trying to answer some of the questions I missed at the top here. I already answered Adita. The CPI question, yep. Oh yeah, this is when I got cut off for a second there. Okay, so I think that's about it for me, guys. Okay, let's see how far this trade is gonna go first. We are definitely out of that setup. That's the first loss of the day. And now if you hop on to the higher time frames, this is that 15-minute setup that we looked at. And now price is going into the hourly one here at the top. So now we just have to watch. And remember, we follow the same rules. Manage your risk and only enter the setup halfway through the stop loss range. But I don't think we can wait until that far. I'm just going to have the alert for myself here and just wait for it. Other than that, guys, happy trading. Manage your risk for the day. I'll check you guys next week, or do hop on to my YouTube live streams as well, Forex Dojo, every day, same time as these ones. Happy trading, guys. Cheers. I see Zaya's asking why we're taking sales and price bullish. I'm just going to show you now quickly. I think if you just hop on a bit to the back, you will see how we basically started looking at this from the daily, where we did look at this bullish move on the daily time frame, and then we picked our daily OB, of course. For the daily, we priced it, we're expecting it to come here and then head to the upside. And then, of course, you start going deeper into price, where we saw the 4-hour zone, which is this one here, bearish. It all depends on what time frame you're looking at. And bearish meaning, let me just show you quickly. We had a BOS over here, price went to the top side, retrace from this minor structure here, broke structure to the downside. We're expecting to basically come back into this area before continuing down. So US30 just hit our price point as well. We'll just take a look as well. And then, of course, that's what we're looking at. So now when you start looking deeper into the price points at the bottom, I'm just going to show you quickly. But if you just hop onto, just take the video back a bit, you'll see how we basically pick those areas, which is these ones here. Okay. I mean, we had this move to the downside, retracement downside, respected the area. Now it's retracing, we're expecting this to hold, and then of course to the downside. Okay. Let's see US30 quickly. Where did we pick this up? Reset. Okay, I need to hop off. Okay, it's not showing reset again. Okay, it's not giving me these price points here. Let's reset again. We start with hourly. It's so slow. 15, reset. Nothing there, nothing there. Okay, guys, that's fine. I'll try to do the same thing tomorrow, right at the London Open on the Forex Dojo channel, and I'll see if you can pick up some other pairs. Happy trading, guys. Cheers.